Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7. Live on hot7025fm.com.
E-Class Consulting. It's owned and operated by Carice, providing tools, training, and resources that are sure to make you and your business even more successful. We are staffed with a marketing, credit, tax, and a real estate consultant. E-Class Consulting also provides a temporary admin service called E-Class Admins. Want to book an appointment with E-Class Consulting? Call 702-518-3002 or email book@eclassconsulting.com. E-Class Consulting, navigating you to greatness.
No limit to the limit. Welcome to Marriage Bootcamp. No limit to the limit with Robert and Vicki Bell. I thought I told you. No limit to the limit. For better or for worse. No limit to the limit. For richer or poor. No limit to the limit. In sickness and health. I thought I told you to love and cherish until death do you part. 1 + 1 =
1.
2 is bigger, but it's
Still 1.
1 1,000, but 2
10,000.
Team Bell. Rob and Vicki Bell. Hot 702.5.
We out. Welcome to Marriage Bootcamp with Vicki and Robert Bell on Hot 702.5 FM, Risky Radio. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Marriage Bootcamp / Marriage Warfare. For those who are seeking and thriving the marriage mindset, this is the platform for you. And what is this platform? This platform was developed from 2 divorcees that fell in love 28 years ago. And then what, right? We wanted to do it right. And back then, there was no social media, there was no Instagram, there were no podcasts. You just had to read books or go to marriage conferences. And the things that we wanted to address or discuss, the practical things in marriage, just wasn't developed or wasn't talked about or wasn't touched upon in conferences and books back then. So then we came up with Marriage Bootcamp. And my co-host here, Robert Bell, of 28 years, my husband, I'll introduce him to you.
Well, thank you. Did you say your name? And you are Vicki?
I am Vicki Bell.
And as I said before, you might hear me refer to her as Vicki. You might hear me refer to her as Melissa. And I'm always going to refer to her as Lady Bell. And as you were talking about welcome to Marriage Bootcamp and how we got started and all that, you know, I want to thank you. I want to thank you, Vicki. Thank you for getting down in this bunker with me. Because we talking about marriage boot camp, you talking about marriage warfare, and you talking about marriage period, and as we were out for teach and all that. Because marriage is a fight. Mm-hmm. Marriage is a fight, and when people get married, they don't really understand the fight, the struggle to survive, to make this thing work. And I want to thank you for getting down in the bunker with me, because you know when you join the Army, when you join the Marines, you don't know what you got till you get down in the bunker. Mm-hmm. You go through boot camp, you get that training, and you learn that training. But you don't know what's going to happen until you actually get out on the field. And I thank you for being out here in this bunker with me, out here in this field with me for 28 years, holding it down, fighting and having my back. I want to thank you for that. You know, the front line, I want to thank you for being on the front line with me, because you said this thing about boot camp. And when, you know, it's already, you know, everybody just trying to be married and make the best of their marriage. Mm-hmm. And to be on the front line and want to try to help other couples, I want to give a shout out to all those other couples that's out there, being on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or in your church or in your neighborhood, that's encouraging other couples. Being on the front line, because you already got to deal with your issues. You already got to deal with your pain. You already got to deal with your problems and your pressure, and then to get on the front line to try to help others. And as they say in the church, then you become a target. You know, the enemy's going to get you because you out there on the front line trying to help others. I thank you for standing on this front line with me, fighting with me, grinding with me, helping others. So anybody that you know in your life, any couple that you know that's out there, that's on the front line, trying to help you, trying to give you advice, trying to show you some love, trying to show you and your wife some love, trying to show you and your husband some love, trying to give you guys some encouragement. That's front line. Nobody wants to be on the front line. In the Army, Lady Bell, they got this man they call the point man. You know what the point man do, especially in Vietnam? The point man, he would go out front of everybody else to scope out what's going on. You know, a lot of time the point man got killed because he might have stepped on, what's those things they put in the ground? What you step on? A landmine or something like that. Over there in Vietnam, you might trip a landmine. They got wire trips. Or you might step on one. Or you might, the point man, you out front there, when they do spot you, you're going to be the first one to get shot. So it's rough being on the front line. When you on the front line, everybody see you first. Everybody watching you. So thank you for being on this front line, and all you other couples that's out there on the front line. I want to thank you for, helping others, trying to encourage others. All we doing is giving our opinion, right, Lady Bell? All we doing is giving our answers, Lady Bell. And as somebody said this last week, thank you. I wish I would have known that 10 years ago. No, thank you. We wish some of this stuff we talking about, we wish we would have known 28 years ago.
Absolutely.
We wish we would have known 38 years before I got married the first time. I wish somebody would have told me, hold it, wait a minute. You just can't get married.
Absolutely.
I wish somebody would have told me, no, go to counseling. And as we go ahead, Lady Bell.
And not just go to counseling. What type of counseling are you getting?
And that's what I'm ready to get into, Lady Bell. Like I say, not just going to counseling. You got to go to counseling. As we do a little, we like to do a recall and review because, a lot of people, a lot of time when they say a person's attention span is only good for 15 to 20 minutes.
Yep.
And then in that 15 to 20 minutes, you really only comprehend 30, 40% of what you heard. They say out of 100 people, only 10% of those people is going to be 10. That's going to really hear you. And then out of that 10% that really heard you, you get another 10%. Only one of those actually going to put it to action.
Right.
So when we talking about we want to do a recall and review, just to recap on some things we said last week, as we just mentioned about going to counseling. If you're a dating couple and you're let me recap one other thing, Lady Bell. The stuff and advice and the answer that we're getting or giving is based on marriage. This is what we're talking to married folks. Because last week somebody said, well, Rob, you said 50-50 and me and my girl, it ain't that deep. Okay, well, you and your girl, you talking about your wife. No, me and my girl. Well, this advice I'm talking about when I'm talking about 50-50, that 50-50 difference I had about a husband and wife. When a man and wife get married and they talk about they going 50-50,
right.
That's what I don't agree with. Now, if you got a girlfriend, you got a boo, you got a significant other, you got a roommate, y'all want to go 50-50, hey, that's up to y'all what y'all want to do. That's up to anybody to do what they want to do. We just saying, I don't understand when a man and a woman get married, how they going 50-50. So we was referring to married couples when we talk about 50-50. A husband is paying 50% of the bill. A wife is paying 50% of the bill. Now, since I paid my portion, whatever I have left, I can do with it. I want to do with it. And now since she paid her portion, she can do with what she want to do with it. I just don't understand that. But as we were saying, some things that we didn't know, at least I didn't know. First time I got married, I wish somebody would have told me, no, go to counseling. That was part of our plan about going to counseling. Going to counseling. We said you should do at least 8 sessions of counseling. You're going to sit down and talk about, you're going to sit down with your counselor. You're going to sit down and talk about family. What's your ideal of a family? What's your purpose of what's your role as a husband and a wife, as a mother, as a father?
Right.
If you're fortunate enough, you're young and you get married and it's just you and her and he ain't got no kid, she ain't got no kids, y'all just coming together from the beginning. How many kids are you guys gonna agree on?
Right.
That's kind of stuff you got to talk about. We don't heard about people get married. Well, we said we was gonna have 3. Well, I don't have just one. I ain't having no more. You want to have some more? You push it out. I ain't pushing no more out. What you think about that, Lady Bell?
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, you have to have those discussions. You have to have those conversations. And if you don't have those conversations, it comes up later on in the marriage as situations and circumstances come up.
Right. So if there is no children involved when you get married, y'all just two single people getting married, starting your own family. You got to discuss on how many kids you want, how far apart they're going to be.
And another issue with people when they have kids is how you're going to discipline them.
How you, that the discipline thing.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to talk about that discipline thing. How many kids you want to have. How far apart they're going to be. Oh, this always been my pet peeve, Lady Bell. If you're a young couple, you thinking about getting married, or you just got married, can you do me a favor? Can you wait at least 2 to 3 years?
Right.
Can you wait at least 2 to 3 years before you have a baby? I think that's, go ahead.
Yeah, because I know, especially in the church, a lot of people get married and they have kids right away and they lean on the scripture, be fruitful and multiply. That's all well and good. But I think it's important that the two become one, that they get to know each other, go through the seasons together to get an understanding so that they can know one another before they start bringing little ones into the picture.
Before they start bringing little ones in the picture, let me get to know who you are.
Exactly.
Now we living together. I got to know who you are.
Exactly.
You got to know who I am. Now we've been married 5, 6, 7, 8 months. Now all of a sudden you're telling me, baby, I'm pregnant.
Right.
And we only been married 7 months. And now the woman I was getting to know, now life is growing inside of her.
Right.
She's going to change.
Absolutely.
So I never got to really get to know her.
No.
Now she's going to change.
Oh, yeah, because her hormones is all over the place.
Her hormones is all over the place, and she's carrying life inside of her.
Exactly.
Now she's not only thinking about her, she's thinking about the life inside of her. And now you might become second fiddle because her main concern might be the well-being of the child that she's carrying.
And then the pressure. The pressure of bringing a little one into your family, your marriage. That's a lot of pressure.
And not only is that affecting her, that's affecting him.
Exactly.
I remember my first child. My goodness, I thought, you pregnant? Oh my, we barely making it. And now I got to worry about taking care of a baby.
Similac and diapers.
Now that's stress. So can you please do me a favor? If you can, if you're young enough, wait 2 or 3 years. Let me get to know you. You need to get to know me before we start bringing some babies in. Because I don't see too many young couples, Lady Bell. They get married and not ain't even been married a year and they got a baby. Right. Then the second year of marriage, they got another baby. The third year of marriage, they got another baby. I remember one time when somebody said, debating if I want to say that or not. I'm going to pass on that one.
What?
Thank you. You told me to think before I say too much. So we talked about getting counts. We talked about family. Talking about finances.
Yeah.
How are we going to share our money? Are we going to bring our money together? Are we going to go 50-50? Are we going to go 70-30? We believe in one pot. Everything goes into one pot. One person handle the money. Two people, both of y'all can handle the money. Sit down and write the checks together. Or if he's better at handling the money, let him handle the money. If she's better at handling the money, let her handle the money. If you want to handle the money together, then handle the money together. Right. But these things need to be discussed. If I'm going to pay 70%, you're going to pay 30%, or we going to go 50-50 of everything going in together. Those things need to be discussed. We just can't get married and we don't heard too many stories. It's not about, people get married like, well, how much do you make? And we're going to get back into them questions thing too. How much do you make? Well, how much do you make? We worried about income. I want it. What's the date? Everybody want $100,000 man. He got to be making $100,000, 6 figures.
6 figures.
But it ain't about with the income. You better be concerned about the outgoing. What if he making $100,000? But he's in over his head.
That part. He got student loans.
He still got, he making $100,000, but got $100,000 out of student loans.
Exactly.
He got a $1,200 car note and $800 rent.
Where they had that at?
Remember that one time we did that budget and you said, Rob, you got to bump up all these prices?
Yeah.
I put down a $300 car note. Is there any such thing as a $300 car note? There ain't no such thing as $300 car note.
Not even a $300 lease. No.
So you have to go over the budget and how you're going to construct your finances together. You can't go in hiding income. You can't go in hiding debt. That's a kill. That's a marriage killer too, Lady Bell. Hiding debt. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I make this much. I make that much. Well, okay, babe. Okay, hey, we know situation where well, okay, I can handle all the bills. I'm paying all the bills. You can do whatever you like with your money, but be sensible. Save some money, bank some money, invest some money. Look out for me every once in a while. But you get those situations where the man might be handling all the bills, and then he say, "Baby, what you doing with all your money? You make good money. What are you doing with all your money?" And she in debt. Mm-hmm. Situation where people get married and find out, well, I didn't know she had 10 credit cards. I didn't know she had 15 credit cards. How can somebody have 15 credit cards? Finger Hut. What are them other little cheap credit cards you can get? They get them $300,000 and $400,000 credit line on them, mm-hmm. and then next thing you know, you buried trying to pay $15 a month on 10 different bills. Mm-hmm. And you paying $15 a month on 10 different bills. How long that's going to take you to pay off $1,000? Forever?
Forever, ever.
You the banker?
Yeah, forever. But I just want to go back to the basics too. When a couple gets married, they have to have life insurance. That should be one of the first things that they get as a couple.
That's part of finances.
I know.
Thank you for bringing that up, because
Mm-hmm.
I got it wrote down about my scribble scrap. I can't read it. I got it right next to finances, discussing payments, and you must, especially once you start having children, you must buy life insurance policy. I'm not an insurance man. She's not an insurance lady, but we do recommend getting a life insurance policy. Listen, gentlemen, if you're a husband, you got a wife, you got 2 or 3 children, and let's just say you make $50,000 a year, and God forbid something happened to you today, what is your family going to do? Now, the rule of thumb used to be, Lady Bell, help me if you heard anything different, but the rule of thumb used to be, for whatever your income is, you should have enough insurance policy to cover 5 years, 5 years of your income. So if you're making $50,000, well, let's be generous. You making $100,000, we're gonna make him a 6-figure man. You making $100,000, you should have a life insurance policy of at least $500,000, so that way your wife and children have a cushion for at least 5 years. At least they're not missing your income.
Right.
You can't be driving a brand new car and not have a life insurance policy.
Exactly.
You can't be, what did they call that? House broke. You can't have a big old house and not have a house poor.
I thought it was house rich and cash poor.
House rich and cash poor. Well, thank you. That's why I like you for helping straighten me out. But you can't have all these luxuries. You can't have a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 bag, Gucci bag, Louis bag, or whatever bag, and you only got 5 cents in it. Mm-hmm. You can't do that. You can't have all these luxuries of life, all the benefits of life, and no insurance policy, lady. It's a commercial that said everything breaks. Yeah. Everything breaks. That's the insurance on everything breaks that you can get coverage on this. And so you got insurance on your cell phone. My goodness, you cannot live without having insurance on that cell phone. You do not want to break that $1,500 iPhone. You mean to tell me you got insurance on an iPhone, on your cell phone? You got insurance on your car? It's a must. If you go out there today and buy a brand new car, Vicky, they will not let you drive that car off the lot without having insurance on it.
That's right.
You cannot buy a house without having insurance on it.
That's right.
So anything else, you got to have insurance on your car, your house, your cell phone. Oh, you even with a car. Not only do you have the car insurance, but if your warranty have gone on your car,
yeah.
Now you got to get I've been looking for you. I've been calling you all day. I want to know if you want to buy this extended warranty, because everything breaks.
That's right.
Now, how you got insurance on your car? You got insurance on your it's mandatory that you have insurance on your car.
Yeah.
It's mandatory that you can have insurance on your house.
Right.
I don't think it's mandatory that you can have one on your cell phone, but who wants to buy a $1,500 phone and drop it?
Exactly.
My buddy bought one of those. Mike bought one of those big old fancy flip phone.
The Samsung.
That opens up, that big old thing. He didn't have it a week and dropped it. Had it, but I think it's insurance. Even with the insurance, he still had to spend another $250. But just imagine if he wouldn't have. Sometimes we'd be like, I want to save that $8. I want to save that $8, and I'm not going to get insurance. You better get insurance. You better get in. Listen, dude, you better get insurance. A life insurance policy is saying, I love you from the grave. If something was to happen to you, young man, stop buying Starbucks every day and get you a life insurance policy.
That's right. And you know what? When you talk about life insurance, a lot of the jobs offer term life insurance, but get something outside of the job as well. Something that, where if you lose your job or something, you still have other insurance outside of that. You may even come up with a better plan than what's offered through the job. Something
that's going to protect your family. Right. If something, God forbid, if something was to happen to you. We talked about it. That's one of the things you got to talk about in counseling, your financing, which includes what you just said, Lady Bell, life insurance, your family, your kids, how many you're going to have, how you're going to raise them, how you're going to discipline them.
That's right.
Even though we was a blended family, we still had to come to agreement on how we were going to discipline them. Because even I see in biological families, coming from a very large family, I see even in biological parents, sometimes they don't even agree on how to discipline their kid. So how much more difficult can that be when you got two families coming together as a blended family, coming into agreement how we're going to raise them? You got a different belief in raising things. Like when our thing was, what was our thing?
Santa Claus.
Remember the Santa Claus thing?
Yeah.
You told me. I said, I'm Santa Claus. My kids ain't believing no jolly old white man is bringing them toys. No, I work too hard. And you said, I don't care. My kids, they believe in Santa Claus. They're going to believe in Santa Claus. And I'm going to always teach them about Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I said, okay, then, wait, we can make it work because my kids don't believe in Santa Claus. All their cousins believe in Santa Claus. They know the routine. They know who to say, where do y'all get your toys from? Santa Claus. What did Santa Claus give you? This. What did Santa Claus buy you? That. So, Christmas was no problem. Our first Christmas was no problem as far as believing in Santa Claus or not believing in Santa Claus. But even little things like that can, can blow up.
It can.
So, you got to discuss these things. See, like I say, you go through boot camp, you date, you do all that, then you get married, marriage boot camp. Now you're in a bunker. Now you're in the fight. A war don't broke out. An issue don't came up. A problem don't came up. And we had no discussion about that. We need to discuss this. But we didn't. You didn't. When you got married, you didn't discuss that the first time. When I got married, I didn't go over these things.
Right.
I love you. I love you too.
Oh, girl, he fine.
I'm getting married. I'm getting married. Young and dumb.
There's a book written by Susie Orman, The Young, the Rich, and the Broke.
The Young, the Rich, and the Broke. That talked about
the young people. I got it for the kids one year.
Okay. Because you can't live, talking about the insurance thing, you can't just say YOLO. Because you only live once, but life catches up with you quick.
Real quick.
When you done YOLOing, when I was trying to hang out with the kids. Remember I hang out with Rob and Tommy and our sons, and they talking about YOLO. I'm like, yeah, YOLO. YOLO, you only live once. And I say, and 3 or 4 years passed me by. And now here, I'm like, man, I'm going to be 61, and they going to be like 40, and it's like, yeah, remember I told y'all was going to be 40, but not realizing, okay, now I'm 60.
Right.
So while you out there YOLOing, life catches up with you fast.
Real quick.
So, the part of the plan is sit down with a counselor and talk about your finance, talk about your family, talk about your kids, how you going to raise them, how you going to discipline them. Oh, this is another thing, Lady Bell, especially if you got a blended family. What? Remember we got on that thing about We saw that movie about how the son got in trouble and the family went in financial ruins.
Oh,
They went financial ruin trying to keep the boy out of prison.
yeah.
All the whole cover up, but the whole thing it destroyed the family finance. Even though in the end they were all together.
Yeah.
But they destroyed them financially and all of that and the trust. Even though can't go through the whole thing of the movie, but because one parent didn't like the way the other parent was doing something, but we're going to do it this way, and it destroyed them financially.
Yeah,
and then we're like, okay, what are we going to do
if one of these rascals
if one of them get in trouble? We can't go. I had a ton of cousins that that was in the game, and I seen them get in trouble, and I seen my uncles and aunties bailing them out, and old and broke, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah, neither was I.
Right, so we did the monopoly thing. Everybody gets one
get out of
jail free card.
Yeah.
That free card included one. We'll bail you out, we'll pay for a lawyer, but we're not going broke doing it. We're not going to ruin us. Trying to keep you out of jail. Mm-hmm. We'll do it once. You get one out of hey. But Lady Bell, I got this word down here: negotiable. The definition: negotiable. Open to discussion or modification. So when we made that thing about the one get out of jail free card and being out there, and then get in trouble again, you'd be like, okay. Now we got to negotiate. Is this open for discussion? What should we do? Nobody wants to see their child locked up. Nobody wants to see their child behind bars. Nobody wants to see their child in trouble. But at the same time, you can't ruin you. You can't ruin us in the process.
Right.
So you have to discuss those things because life happens.
It does.
Life happens. And I hear him now, Vicky. I hear him now. Can you hear him? Can you hear him? Just trust God. Just trust Jesus. Didn't some of the disciples get locked up?
Yeah, they did.
And I don't know. I know a lot of brothers got locked up. I ain't never heard none of them say, and the earthquake opened up the cells and they all walked out. So in the midst of trusting Jesus and trusting God, you better have a plan. You better have a plan. We talked about your faith being equally yoked. Being equally yoked got to be more than just saying, we both love God.
Right.
We both saved. We both washed in the blood. Equally yoked. You got to have more than just being equally yoked. Mm-hmm. Tithes and offering. Are we going to pay tithe? If we do believe in God, we do trust God, we're going to go to church. Are we going to pay tithes and offering? How much division we see that in couples? Pay tithes and offering. And that dude in the pulpit would sit up there. Remember we sometimes we'd tell them sisters, the dude in the pulpit would tell them sisters, if you trusted and believe in God for a husband, pay your tithes and offering. To the married sister, this is what them dudes in the pulpit would tell them married sisters. Listen, married sisters that go to church, the dude in the pulpit telling you trust and believe in God and you want to get your husband saved, you want to get your husband out them streets, you got to pay tithes and offering. You got to sow a seed offering, and God will deliver him. God will change him. God will bring him to the church.
See, that's tough. In a situation like that, sister better, if her husband's not in the church, she better have a clear understanding of how much
your husband telling you not to pay tithes and offering.
That part.
And your husband telling you not to pay tithes and offering, and the dude in the pulpit is telling you to pay tithes and offering because that devil at home need to be saved. You better listen to your husband. Yeah. You better listen to your husband because when the rubber hits the road, and we've been married 28 years, and we don't seen a lot, and we don't heard a lot, and we don't been through a lot, and we don't know a whole lot of people don't been through a lot. When the rubber hits the road, most of the time it's just me and you. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, sometimes you'll be down there in that bunker. We was looking at that war movie the other day, and they was down in the bunker, and the one guy got up and started running. He got scared and started running. That's what I like about the French Foreign Legion War. They don't quit. They just move forward. And they say, they will shoot you. The French Foreign Legion, if you run, they will shoot you. Your own guy, your own soldier, your own teammate will shoot you. What do you mean you're scared? No, you can't cuddle down.
No retreat.
No retreat. Mm-hmm. No surrender. Mm-hmm. You can't get in this bunker and then now we got some problems, we got some pain and some pressure, and you want to cuddle up in a fetal position. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a day or two to deal with the pain. I'm gonna give you some time to deal with the pressure. But then sooner or later, I have to pull myself together. Sooner or later, you got to pull yourself together. Sooner or later, we got to pull ourselves together. Anything you want to say, Lady Bell? I know when you said we on 12:30.
Yeah, let's talk about some of these other questions. Robert and I.
Can I say one other thing, Lady
Sure,
Bell?
sure.
I got to say this one. When talking about when you go to counseling, if you go to counseling and they say, and you hear anybody say happy wife, happy life.
Oh, that's a yeah.
Happy wife, happy life. Time out. What do you think about happy? Before I say anything, what do you think about happy wife, happy life?
I think it's a cute cliche, and it's just that, a cliche. Both people need to be happy in the marriage.
And what do we say? Happy house. Happy spouse. Yeah, no. Everybody has to have a degree of happiness up in this joint here. No, happy wife, happy life. Hey, listen to me, young couples. If you're sitting down with somebody and they say, give me some advice, and the dude say, happy wife, happy life, get away from him.
Yeah, that's putting a lot of pressure on a young husband.
If an old dude say to you, just do whatever she say, just agree with her, get away from him. Get away from him. No, everybody has to be a degree of happy. Right. I got to be happy. You got to be happy. The kids got to be happy. Happy house, happy spouse. Everybody have to have a degree of happiness up in here.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a cute cliche to say, but that's not something that you should live by. It creates a sensitive, like you walking around on eggshells around the spouse, just trying to keep her happy. And that's not healthy. That's not healthy.
Not healthy at all.
That's not healthy for anybody in the house. So that's our opinion.
We got a little more time, Lady Bell. We got to talk about leadership and submitting. Leadership and submitting. Young guy said to me, my wife don't submit to me. And with us, how can I say this? With us, we never. How do you marry somebody that don't submit to you? That's before you said I do and I will. How do you say I do, not knowing that she wasn't submitting to you before you got married?
See, that was never an issue for us in our marriage.
I didn't want to say that, but thank you for saying that.
So in my position on submitting, and you always joke about this, but I always knew my place because you knew your place. And you were such a great leader for our family. You knew, like, what direction you wanted to go in. We always talked about it. We had open conversations about it. Depending on, like, the severity, whatever the situation was, we would include the kids. I mean, and we even ran a business together for years. We always talked about it, but ultimately the decision was yours. But I always felt like I was part of the decision. I didn't feel like you put your fist down and said, this is it, and that's the way it's going to be. See, you didn't run our house like that. So it's kind of hard for me to say because it was just easy, And believe me, I didn't just say, okay, whatever you say. No, we had healthy conversations around different things. And like I said, when you run a business together as a couple, that's a whole nother level. We should do a segment on that.
Submitting should be automatic. When you hear a woman say, I can't submit to my husband. I don't want to submit to him. He's not a good leader. But you married him. But the problem I have with that is submitting should be automatic because you go to work every day and you don't look at your boss and say, I don't feel like submitting to him today. I don't feel like submitting to her today. You go in there knowing that they're your authority.
They are your authority.
See, that's the hard part. Authority. It's not that you don't want to submit. You don't respect my authority.
Yeah, but even in the workplace, though, your manager or whatever, they will ask for your input. And a lot of the jobs and the roles and the positions, it's more of a team environment and it's more inclusive. And I think that's how a marriage should be, more inclusive. with a husband and wife. You include them on a decision. Ultimately, the decision is yours, but you include the spouse. And that way you have a healthy dialogue about what to do, what direction to go.
Well, that goes back to what you said earlier as far as leadership.
Exactly.
Leadership. Well, I can't submit because he don't know how to lead. Well, why did you marry him?
That part.
I don't understand that. First of all, dude, you married her talking about she don't submit. Well, why did you marry her? Then you marry him talking about I can't submit because he's not a good leader. Well, why did you marry him? Did you marry him because he wasn't a good leader and you knew who you can control him? See, you can't get married and say you can control him. You know you can dominate him. You know you can out-talk him. You know you're a little smarter than him. Girl, you know he a little slow. You know he a little slow, don't you? You know you got to dot all his I's for him and cross all his T's. Come on, you know you got to put in all the commas and all the periods. You know he's a little slow, and so now you know you can control him, or know you can be. Help me with a word there, Lady Bell.
Control or manipulate him.
Oh, perfect word, lady. But you know you can manipulate him, and now you're talking about you don't want to submit because he's not a good leader. Mm-hmm. You didn't check out that. That's why you got to go to counseling to find out what his leadership skill is. Mm-hmm. That's why you got to go to counseling to see if she submit to authority.
Exactly.
Thank you for and one other thing. We got to touch on this one because we're going to get into this one. Sex. You got to talk about sex. That's got to be one of the sessions when you go to counseling. Mm-hmm. You must talk about sex. You must talk about lovemaking. Oh, yeah, she was buck wild before you got married. Yeah, she was swinging off the chandelier and all of that. She was doing all of that. I ain't going to say something that, TikTok and Facebook, they got all these kind of stuff now, because we 60, but all this new stuff they talking about they do, they had no problem, in our generation, we didn't talk about oral sex. We didn't talk about all that stuff. Now they talk about everything they do and they don't do. They talk about the groceries. They eat groceries now, Lady Bell. And we don't have that discussion on groceries. You know what the grocery is. Yes. So they do all that now. So she was doing all of this before we got married. And then now we married and she said she don't do that. That's why you got to have a discussion. Mm-hmm. You got to have a counseling session on sex. Mm-hmm. Negotiable. How much sex we gonna have? I need it every night. I need it every night. Can I get it every night? No, you only good for 4 nights a week. Okay, I can handle 4 nights a week. Now you can't tell me 4 nights a week and then we get married and you give it to me once a week. I need it more than once a week. Before we got married, you couldn't keep your hands off of me. Now that you got me, you don't. Now you want to play games. Mm-hmm. Now you want to play games. That's why you must sit down and talk about. You just can't assume that y'all doing all of that, right. Getting butt naked every night and doing everything, and then it's going. What was that movie? Remember Ice Cube and Boys in Hood when Ricky had his girlfriend living with him, and he told him, "Oh, you a mama's boy with your in-house coochie." Remember, because the girlfriend was living with him. So you think you're going to get married, you're going to have in-house coochie, and then she puts it on lock, and then she distributes it to you when she wants to distribute it to you. That's why you must have this discussion, and that's why we're going to jump into some of these questions that we did this thing. We did this thing about a year ago as far as, people dating, having questions for each other, right. and then somehow, I don't know, I got a work application or something. I said, man, Vicky, can you imagine if you're dating and you make somebody fill out an application? And then not only that, then the interview questions, if you're dating, part of this counseling, if you sit down and ask some of these questions that they're asking for a job, they're asking you all these intense questions about a job, and I'm scared to ask you about these questions, and we about to get married for better or for worse, rich or poor until death, and I don't want... DNA. You did not ask and you do not ask because everybody's afraid to ask the hard questions.
Yeah, Robert and I came up with this concept. It was a couple of years ago. He was teaching, and it came up with marriage DNA. You did not ask and you do not ask. And then if you find yourself in a situation where you're dealing with something that you didn't ask or you didn't discuss about before you got married, and now you're dealing with it, falls under marriage DNA. But as you talk, and we're going to go through these questions, but as you talk and you get through that, hopefully you can come to on the other side of that, of the marriage DNA. And that's what I came up with this acronym. Marriage discussions that you're now aware of.
Ooh, marriage discussions that you're now aware of, DNA.
Or do you like marriage dialogue?
I like it all, whatever you come up with, but like I said, you did not ask, do not ask. Sometimes when you see it, but you're afraid to ask. Should I ask her? Should I say something? Oh, it's a red flag. Hey, everybody has red flags. Everybody has red flags. But can you handle that red flag?
Right.
Can you handle it?
Right.
That he's this, she's that. Okay, well, I can't handle that, but maybe he can. He's this, he's that. She can't handle that, but maybe she can. Everybody has red flags. Like my daddy said, hey, Rob, they're all crazy. They all crazy, some form of fashion. But how much crazy can you handle? I can handle this crazy. How much crazy can you handle? Go ahead, Lady Bell.
Okay. The first question is why, like in an interview, and think about this if you're dating someone. The question would be, why should we hire you? Or you can twist that, why should I date you? Or why should I marry you? So that prompts conversation and discussion around, why should you even be involved with this person? What do they bring to the table? What is it about them that attracts you? What is it about them that intrigues you? What is it about that person? And write it down so you can kind of have a look at it and see, is that something you want to be connected to for the rest of your natural life? Because there is no greater bond than that of a man and a woman, a husband and wife that are married. So that's something to really think about.
And the key word you said there was what attracts you. Because the initial thing is attraction.
Exactly.
So you got to get, did not ask, do not ask. You got to get past that physical attraction, whatever attracted you, and then you went from that attraction to that attraction, and then you got to get past all of that and ask these hard questions because, like you said, what your new acronym is?
Oh, marriage discussion is now aware of.
The ones you're aware of it. Love is blind, but marriage will open up both your eyes.
Exactly. Next question is, what are your strengths? In an interview question, they ask you, well, what are your strengths? What are your strengths? And that's something that you should ask somebody. What is your strength? What do you have that you can bring to the table that you're good in, that you're good with, that you can just continue, to strengthen the relationship? What is it about you that is something that is your strength? Another question is, tell me about a time you demonstrated leadership skills. Now, we think about this. Leadership is important in a marriage. Very, very important, because you have to have marital goals. I hear now a lot of people talk about relationship goals. Well, you have to have marital goals. Otherwise, your marriage will get stuck and stagnant. And you'll look up and you'll see yourself in the same situation, in the same circumstances that you were 20 some odd years ago, and your marriage never grows and flourish, and neither of you will flourish in the marriage. Sometimes, have you seen people that they look like when they're married, like they literally have a ball and chain attached to them? They're not vibrant.
The whole ball and chain.
Yeah, they're not vibrant. They're not they don't have any energy, as the kids say, just negative vibes, just bad vibes. Get away from that. You have to bring some leadership skills so that you can have goals for your marriage. Anything you want to say about that?
Go ahead. You did perfect.
Okay. Can you talk about a time when you had to go above and beyond your regular duties to get the job done? Now, think about that in a relationship, because in a marriage, it's a give or take. One of you may have to hold it down while the other one may be sick or, going through something. And sometimes you have to step up and just hold it down for the whole house. So do you have the ability to do that? Do you have examples where you've done that in the past, where you've done it and you didn't do it grudgingly, where you just had an attitude about it, where, because that's bad. If you're going to do something, you're going to take it on and you have an attitude about it, I'd rather you not do it. Don't do it at all, because now you're bringing this attitude into the house, into the mix. So that's not good as well. Then
you say go above and beyond your regular duties to get the job done.
Exactly.
Go above and beyond your regular responsibility to make the marriage work.
That's right.
Sometimes you got to go above and beyond. Mm-hmm. Well, he ain't doing this. I got to go above and beyond. She ain't doing that. I got to go above and beyond. That's why this 50-50 thing, we got to have a full discussion on that. Because the 50-50 thing, is that only the financial part of it? Because you hear people say, well, you get 50, I get 50. Maybe tomorrow I'll get 60% and you get 40% because you have. They know everybody got to give 100. They don't. We doing these interview questions. Vicky, can we trust that when you come in tomorrow that you're going to give us 50% if we give you this job? Can we give you 50% of what we said we was going to pay you?
No.
Can you imagine at an interview you're gonna say, well, I'm coming in and all your other employees give them 50%, I'll give my 50%. They're not gonna hire you. You talking about you coming in giving 50%.
Yeah. But you know what? You reminded me of something. You go to your job every day and you give it your all, but then you come home and you tired. So that's why it takes both people moving and working in a relationship so that you can both contribute. Because in today's society, it is tough. You're giving it your all and you're pulled in so many different directions. Okay. What skills are you currently working on to improve? I like this one because you should always be improving yourself. You should always be trying to give your best to your husband or your wife. Always try to give them your very best. And you should always be working on something.
And when you say giving your best, the best thing, like I said, if we both trying to give 100, and nobody's perfect. But if you're doing your best and I'm doing my best, mm-hmm. and then, like I say, if you have a bad day, I know, okay, she's having a bad day. The Bible says, dwell with your wife according to knowledge. Mm-hmm. Honor her as the weaker vessel. Dude, you got to study this woman. Like I said earlier, she starts having babies. She start going through this and she start going through that. I don't watch this woman body change so many times in the last 30 years. Can you imagine having a cycle? You can't even imagine having a cycle every month. Dude, you can't imagine carrying a baby or 2 or 3. My mama had 9 babies. I don't know how she did it. I don't know how that woman did it. My goodness. Lady Bell, I like this question here. I like this question. Or did you just ask me a question? I like this one here. What is that? I'm trying to see it. No, I can't see. Oh, here it goes. What is it that I should absolutely know about you? What is it that I should absolutely know about you? Something that happened in your childhood, something that happened in your life, something that happened. What is one thing I should ask? You've been to jail. Oh, I absolutely need to know that. Mm-hmm. You got some serious childhood traumas. I absolutely need to know that. Mm-hmm. You did this or you did that. What is it that I absolutely need to know about you? Right. I don't want to be married to you 5 years and you ain't never met Ricky? Who is Ricky? Oh, you know Rob had that kid about 15 years ago. Oh, you didn't tell me that. I didn't tell you about Ricky. It's something that you should absolutely know. Like I say, these questions and the DNA and all of that. A lot of stuff what we didn't have in our days, Lady Bell, because we got to get ready to wrap up. This generation. When I say it's the information highway, everything is right there at your fingertips. Right. You got your phone right there. Hey, if you're serious about dating somebody and you want to go to counseling, like even before you go to counseling, you know what? I need your credit report. I need a copy of your police report. Mm-hmm. Go down to the sheriff department. You got to have them go down to the sheriff department and fingerprint them. That way they find out everything what's really going on. What do I absolutely need to know about you?
Even your medical background.
And your medical background.
History.
Lady, that's another thing in counseling. We need to talk about our health. Mm-hmm. You healthy now, I'm healthy now. You like to work out, I like to work out. Are you going to continue to work out? I know the newlywed 10, the newlywed 15, but girl, you don't got the newlywed 30. Come on now, you can't let yourself go because you said I do. Mm-hmm. You promised me we gonna stay in shape. You promised we gonna work out. You promised we gonna eat healthy. You just can't get married and let yourself go. What is that? Y'all think about getting married, you dating and all of that. Hey, I need your credit report. Is Credit Karma a good credit report? I need you to pull a hard copy of your credit report. I need for you to get me a copy of your Rucker. Have you ever been arrested, and for what? Dude, you better check her. This goes both ways.
Did you remember that show?
You better find out if she ever put any sugar in anybody's tank.
Who the bleep did I marry? You mean to tell me you been busting out windows? You mean to tell me you got Keisha on speed dial talking about you ready to roll, girl? Yeah, let's roll. I got some windows I want to bust out. No, you better pull her records too. And you better. How are you healthy? Are you healthy? Are you healthy? I need your medical report. Mm-hmm. People are getting sick and have illnesses, and people. Another question: If you, a lady, if you were a man, would you marry you? If you was a woman, would you marry you? Hey, woman, if you was a man, would you marry you? You talking about what you bring into the offer. What would you give yourself if you was a man? Are you really the prize? Hey, man, if you was a woman, would you marry you? Do you have any leadership skills? What do success look like to you? Do you know how to handle stress? Do you know how to handle stress under pressure? Do you know how? Do you got any leadership skills? Where we at, Lady Bell? Help me out here. We kind of jumped down there. Do you have any questions for me?
Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, I like this one. Are you a team player?
Are you a team player?
Because 1 + 1 = 1.
2 is bigger.
But it's still 1.
But we down 2 minutes. And like I said, when you're a team player, just because you're on the same team, we see it day after day, year after year. Multi-million-dollar ball players, I don't want to be on this team anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to roll with y'all no more. And they got on the same jersey. They got on the same team colors, but they heart ain't in it. They heart ain't in it. Jimmy Butler don't want to be with the Heat no more. The Lakers just got rid of sent that dude back to Brooklyn. You could tell he went back to Brooklyn. I think the first day he scored like 20 points. Mm-hmm. He was happy to be gone. Mm-hmm. So just hey, and people talking about team player. Oh, y'all dress alike. We gonna start dressing alike. No, it take more than just dressing alike. Just because you're on the same team, you got to make sure you got the same. You said having a marriage mindset, having the same team mindset.
Right.
You want to be on the same team. You want to work with me. You don't mind passing me the ball.
Yeah. Let's wrap this up. I want to talk about a motivational moment.
What's your motivational moment this weekend?
You ready?
I'm ready.
Put your seatbelt on. Okay, everybody who follows us on Vicky Bobby Bell, my motivational moment this week came from Rob. He was working out and he was like, do something to be active, do something. You have to, one leg lift, one jumping jack, but do something to get your heart rate going, to get you, revved up. I know everybody has these New Year's resolutions, but you have to show up for yourself so you can be there for each other. Wow, that was my motivational moment.
Make me cry. Your motivation came from me because I said do something.
Do something.
Do a leg lift. Do a jumping jack. Walk around the block. But love on each other. But do something.
All right. Everybody have a wonderful week.
No limit to the limit. Welcome to Marriage Bootcamp. No limit to the limit with Robert and Vicky Bell. I thought I told you. No limit to the limit for better or for worse. No limit to the limit for richer or poor. No limit to the limit in sickness and health. I thought I told you to love and cherish until death do you part. 1 + 1 =
1.
2 is bigger, but it's
still 1.
1 1,000, but 2
10,000.
Team Bell. Rob and Vicky Bell. Hot 702.5.
We out.